Greetings all and thanks for tuning in. With Halloween less than 48 hours away, we felt now was the perfect time for a special upload, one exploring the history and tradition of the eve before the renowned holiday itself. That's right, as those of us who have participated in a bit of, how do we put this appropriately, jackassery through our teenaged years are already aware of, when the sun falls on the day before October 31st, it signals the beginning of a purge-like sub-holiday, well, minus the killing, that encourages its participants to forfeit fear of law or repercussions, and to travel a twisting path laden with practical jokes, perturbing pranks, and all manner of shenanigans. Are you ready to learn more about the infamous Mischief Night? Definitively, Mischief Night, which is also referred to as Devil's Night, Gate Night, Moving Night, Cabbage Night, Mat Night, and is known under many other monikers, is an informal holiday beginning after sundown on October 30th that encourages any who follow in its tradition to engage in jokes, pranks, parties, and even in more serious crimes, such as vandalism or breaking and entering, usually onto abandoned, supposedly haunted properties. Historically, Mischief Night is believed to have formed in Britain, with some of what are currently the first known instances of its practice documented at Oxford through 1790. However, these early mentions, much like those carrying through the 19th century, are actually in reference to the day before May Day instead, when the younger crowds would switch shop signs, trap people within their homes, and overturn water tubs to fool unsuspecting community members. Over time, as this tradition spread, its date would shift to much later in the year, and while the night before Halloween was yet to be adopted as the night filled with mischief, other early English documentation has it painted as November 4th, being the night before Bonfire Night, or Guy Fawkes Day. Oh, and we really didn't need to include this next part, but please enjoy this hilarious excerpt from a Lancaster Bulletin circa 1885, which shows us just how very little the quarrel between our youth and adult community members has changed even over the centuries. In said article, it was written, "The youths take upon themselves to remove many of the gates belonging to private residents. They seem to glory in the sport, and appear to think they have a perfect right to do so through custom." That quote was made by one Lady Karen VI of— oh, okay, no, we're just kidding about that second part. But on a very real note, this is where the moniker of Gate Night originated. Eventually, when the tradition of Mischief Night skipped the pond to America, it was massively popularized and officially formalized as the night preceding Halloween. And though it's unclear how this transition was actually made, several US news articles from the 1930s and 40s perpetuated it as a fun tradition for kids and teens to engage in practical jokes and harmless pranks. Though conversely, a 1937 Boston Globe segment would detail alarms being pulled without cause, broken windows, fires set, a missing horse and wagon, and a fruit and vegetable war now known commendably as the Battle of Charles, a food fight which actually required police intervention. Unfortunately, as the years went on, people would find ways to take Mischief Night to new extremes, and from around World War II era into the 1970s, the tradition was viewed as a nuisance that ate up police resources. Sadly, through the 1980s, the populaces of some cities, like Detroit, would utilize the night as an excuse for violent crimes. From October 28th to 30th in 1984, within Detroit city limits alone, there were over 800 fires set, and in 1986, a curfew was actually put in place for anyone under the age of 18. Through the late 1980s and early 90s, the city of Detroit would actually enlist volunteers to help prevent and quell fires set around Halloween, a tradition which continues into the present, and every year, this operation welcomes around 40,000 Good Samaritans, who all spend their nights of enlistment prowling for vandals, arsonists, and the like. Fortunately, due to stalwart efforts made by said volunteers and the local authorities, Mischief Night fires have been reduced significantly, and officially, within Detroit city bounds, what was formerly called Devil's Night there has since earned a new name, being that of Angel's Night instead. Additional variations of Mischief Night include Baltimore, Maryland's Moving Night, which has pranksters stealing porch furniture or other outside items, and what's known as Cabbage Night in other parts of New England and Canada, during which time local gardens are raided, and rotting cabbage hurled at houses, cars, and even people. While these extreme stories might leave a bad taste in one's mouth, fortunately, a number of townships, cities, states, provinces, and even countries have begun reclaiming the night from criminals, while true pranksters ever increase in ranks. And across the globe, more recent and innocent Mischief Night documentations include soaped windows, toilet-papered cars, ding-dong ditch played at historical locations or government buildings, mass stink bomb executions, and more. And really, we can all have a laugh at those things. Because let's be honest, what's the harm in a little mischief from time to time? Thanks for joining us for this spooky special. If you enjoyed our histories and anecdotes, subscribe to our channel, like this upload, and share us with anyone you feel could use a good scare. We'll catch you all next time.